Hi, it's Sven from Webiny. Today I want to show you our AI page generation feature. So before we just jump in and generate the page, I want to show you how you configure some of the AI settings inside the platform. So if you go on the settings and AI power-ups, you'll be presented with this screen where you can configure a couple of things. First of all, you can configure your provider if you want to use Claude, or if you want to use OpenAI. Essentially, you just give it a name and pick a model and provide an API key. This is the provider we're going to be using to generate a page or to perform certain AI capabilities within the platform. Then when it comes to generating the page, you don't just want to generate random content, right? You want to generate content that's going to resonate with your audience, but also content that's written in the voice of your brand, of your company, right? So to do that, we've got two definitions here. We've got the reader persona. So this is with whom your content needs to resonate. So here we got an example of an enterprise architect. We describe their role, their background, and there's other interesting things like what would make them say no. So if you're pitching a product, what would be some of the concerns typically that this persona would have that you want to address inside the generated content? And then, similarly, like the reader persona, we have the writer personas. You can have here we essentially define the tone and voice, but also you can define the language that's going to be used to generate the content. An example is, hey, there's a techie persona, so we don't want to use any buzzwords, marketing language, sales language that doesn't sound like a technical person wrote then that article that created that page. But you can also have some fun with it. For example, here we have a Yoda persona, the character from Star Wars. So again, this gives you an ability to control how the generated content is going to pretty much be formatted, or what language. You can also use subtleties like use British English instead of American English, because again, we got certain different words in British, some words are spelled differently. So all of these nuances you can control here. You can also create digital twin of your CEO or CTO, so that it sounds like they wrote this article, and so on. But you pretty much get the idea, right? And lastly, if you just go into AI, sure, you define the personas, the reader-writer personas, and ask it to generate specific, let's say, a page about a generic topic, it's going to do pretty good, right? But if you ask it to generate some topic that's got to do with your product, and it might not have the full context of your product, the AI is going to struggle because it doesn't know your product or whatever you want it to generate the page about. So for that use case, we've got projects. It's similarly how projects work in Claude, just a bit simpler here. Essentially, you create a project and you give it a few properties like name, description, certain instructions. You select a default reader persona and a default writer persona. And then you select a set of files. These files should be textual files that the AI agent can read, and it's going to use that to form its context about, in this case, Webiny products, right? So here we've got several files selected, but for example, let me just unselect one. So let's unselect the features. I'm going to click select the file. It's going to open the file manager. Here, if you drag and drop, for example, markdown files inside our file manager, what's going to happen is that the system is going to automatically read those files, extract the font matter, titles and descriptions and things like that, and it's going to populate these things here. The important bit is that you have a description, right? Essentially, when we build out the context of your project, we don't give it all of the content of files. Instead of, we present the AI model with a manifest and we tell the AI model, hey, here are files that you can use to learn more about a specific topic. And for each file, we're going to present the description. And then we have some tools under the hood through which the AI model fetches the full context of individual files that it decided that are most relevant to fulfill this particular prompt. Essentially, again, best practice is just use Markdown files or any sort of text files. Make sure there's descriptions. But again, if you upload Markdown files, we'll extract descriptions for you automatically. And then send. So let's just attach that file that we've removed. So there we go. That file's there, and it's now part of the project. So essentially now we have the provider, the reader persona, writer persona, and projects to provide as a context to the AI model to be able to generate a page. But one other thing that we also want to provide when it comes to, in particular, page generation are images. So here I've got a couple of images that I've uploaded before. And if I edit one of these images, the point is what I want to show you is that images also have a description and tags. When you upload images in Webiny, we automatically analyze what's on them through the provided AI model, and we extract the description and the tags of that image and populate it. You don't need to do that manually. It's going to be auto-populated for you. But again, with this, we present another manifest to the AI model saying, hey, here's the list of available images inside the system. Here are their descriptions. And if you need any of those images, then you can go and fetch it, right? It's added context to further enrich the capabilities within the AI model. And now let's generate a page. So for that, I'm gonna just click new page, just give it a title. And now we're inside the website builder in Webiny, and here we've got a couple of things. We've got the essential basic components that ship out of the box with Webiny, and we also have the custom components we've created ourselves for our own website. So the actual instance here I'm using is the instance that we're running on our own website. Here, what we also provide is a list of these components as added context to the AI. And as you're building your own custom components, one of the props you're going to see in there is AI context. Essentially, you want to describe your component to the AI model so that the AI model knows a bit more about how to use that component, what's the best practice with this component, and similar things like that. So what I'm going to do now is I'll click this button here, which is the generate content button. Here I have the ability to select a project. I can also exclude certain files from this project for this individual prompt. I can say for which reader persona I'm generating the page. And again, I can change that as well as the writer persona. And this is finally the bit where I give it a prompt. Here, I wanted to create a landing page about Webiny website builder product and add a contact us form at the end because we have a form building component, custom component in this instance, as well as I wanted to select appropriate images from the file manager and add them to the custom components where those file inputs are available. So I'm going to now press the generate button. And at this bit, it's going to take a couple of seconds to maybe 2-3 minutes, depending on how rich your context is, to generate the page. But just sit tight and you're going to see your page appear in just a few moments. All right, here's our page. So let's have a quick look around. We see that it inserted a hero at the very top because hero contains an H1 element, and as a best practice in terms of SEO, that's how you want to start your page. It added a top title, wrote some titles, so your components, your data, your cloud, they're drag and drop. It also populated several images that we can see here floating around. It added some call to actions. So you see pretty rich component with lots of data all populated pretty much flawlessly. Then it added a features icon grid, selected icons for us. You can see here it selected like an icon that's not really a fit, so we can just easily go in here and just edit that icon as we want it to. Then it added a title box, some social proof, call out box, again another title box, and now it inserted here. We can see that maybe certain bits are not nested properly, but this is a really good case where we would go inside the AI context and say, hey, never nest this component inside this other component. It's a quick tweak and you're going to have it working as expected. Then it added a few text and image blocks. You can see that every one of these has an image, a title, and a description. Now it added a call to action, and then had another section for content editors. If we see the previous section, it's for developers. So I decided to have a for developers section, call to action, and then for content editors, because we as Webiny, that's how we communicate. We communicate to both audiences. Here we can see that it added even tabs, a bit more feature grids, a statement box, more features, a whole accordion box with certain components, testimonials again, then it added an FAQ, tell us about your project. You can see on the left it added specific icons, and on the right it added a form, so it looks nice and balanced, so it's got some visual style to it as well, and one more call to action. You're going to get a better feel for the whole page if you click it as a preview in the new window, because now you can scroll through it. You can also see that these components are our original components that are interactive. You can see even when you hover that it it added a link to this call to action to the correct pages. And so, for example, if we go, let's go here. So this is the component that has tabs and images and descriptions. This one as well is animated. It added a whole FAQ section with relevant questions and answers. And you can see how good this component here looks like. This is our custom form component. It picked the fields on its own, which ones are relevant, which ones are required and not required. So it understood all of that and balanced it correctly, and finally finished with a call to action. So you see, this is a proper page that a marketing person from my team would maybe spend a day building. And we got it up and running in just a few minutes using our custom components, our understanding of the project. It's communicating to the relevant audience from our side, and it's communicating in the tone and voice how we wish to communicate. So it's a very powerful feature that you can start using today, and we hope you enjoy it. And if you got any feedback to share with us, you'll find us on our community Slack, which is webiny.com/Slack, and I'll see you there. Bye.